Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's markets in the morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, July 7th, 2023, ending the week here after kind of a wacky week in regards to, at least in here in the United States, having a holiday in the middle and all that weird stuff with a half closed day of the stock market, a fully closed day of the stock market, and volatility all throughout the week. Here we are. We finally made it to the end, and it's time to go back to the weekend, I guess, right? We had the weekend, then we had holiday in the middle of the week. Now we're back at the weekend. Whoa, weird week. But it's time to dive in and see what's going on in the markets here on Friday as we get set for the stock market to open right now. So just in the last couple of seconds, we've had the stock market open. We've got kind of a mixed day over there on Wall Street, but we do have an up day here in crypto, coming off of a rough day yesterday in the market. So yesterday was odd because early in the morning, Bitcoin had set a new yearly high and then shifted all the way back down to the bottom of the range within the same day. So we just keep going back and forth in this washing machine range, unable to leave either side of it, still residing with it today, now bouncing back off the bottom of the range once again as Bitcoin sits at $30,263 as we're starting the morning. Rest of the market over here, mostly green over here on this side of the screen. Leader today on this list, at least, is Solana, Uniswap, Near. Losers down here are Monero, and then you got Crow, Coin, Stellar Lumens, Dash, Basic Attention Token, Algo, just about at even. But Bitcoin up a little bit over 1% as we start the morning off. Looking over there at XRP, we could see XRP still just up a little bit over 1% today, about even with Bitcoin. Still just ranging in here as we've been ranging for the last couple of months. Looking at it on a smaller time frame, and there you could see still just on top of that 200-day moving average, waiting it out, nearing the end there of how long we were in here back in 2015, 16, and 17, and nearing the end of how long we were in here as well back in 2020. So hopefully later this month we get the goodies and we get the go. As for Ethereum still like we talked about 2 weeks ago, I believe that was 2 weeks ago, maybe it was a week and a half ago, on the expanded flat. We went into super detail on that. Ethereum still just sitting still. But okay, let's look at the stock market, see how we're doing as we're opening. Slightly better than we were in pre-market. I know the Dow was down over 100 points in pre-market, now opening up down 66 points. So the Dow is down 0.18%, the S&P is down 0.17%, and the Nasdaq's down 0.15%. Let's take a look over here on the list. We got the leaders up in here. You got Roblox, Tesla, and Coinbase up there at the top. On the bottom, we have United Health, Microsoft, and Apple. Nothing big in here. So the worst performer on this list, United Health, down 0.7%. That's not monstrous. Biggest leaders up in here are all Roblox, Tesla, and Coinbase, all up about 1.5%. And look at that, even ARK hanging out in there. So as we've gone on this week with this holiday week and the madness that we've seen, obviously we've known that these indexes have all been back at the 702 retracements or 786 Fibonacci retracements, unable to clear through them again for another week. Gold taking a pretty decent sized bounce this morning as the dollar has taken a plunge this morning. So we've been talking about this, waiting for this kind of flag to kind of break down. Boom, there it goes. It's starting to break down over here on the DXY. We'll see if we can get some more juice as we've been stuck here now all of 2023 in this range, waiting to get it to finally break down. But gold, we'll keep an eye on this guy. As we know, historically speaking, when it comes to bull runs, if one of them is going to break out into an all-time high, it's either going to be gold or it's going to be the stock market. It is not going to be both of them breaking out into new all-time highs. So we're waiting on an answer to come from these as we sit back at these retracement levels with the stock market. All three indexes. We don't have the S&P on here. S&P. Same story. back in the retracements as well. That was the thesis all of 2022 is that we'd get back to here. Now it's all about the fingernail biting and saying, can we get out? So, all right, looking at those, I think we covered pretty much everything here. So Bitcoin having a recovery day with the rest of the cryptocurrency market after a wacky day yesterday, and the stock market got hammered yesterday. I can't recall exactly what we closed at down. I mean, we can mathematically figure it out. Let's find out. Where are you? Let's look at the Dow Jones yesterday. The Dow closed down 367, but at one point was down over 500 yesterday. So it was just a brutal day out there in broader markets, and that obviously transferred over there into crypto. Hopefully today we get more of a calm day, and we could start to see some sign of hope that Bitcoin can get a work on breaking out of this range. Well, just so wacky yesterday to even hit the new yearly high. The last time we had seen that price for Bitcoin was back on June 8th of 2022. So there's a 13-month high set yesterday, followed by what I'm sure everybody noticed was absolute wildness happening. So, all right, still waiting on Bitcoin as we head into the weekend. Still waiting on XRP as we head into the weekend. Story is really just the same everywhere. I think just really for today, looking to see some stability come in there in the stock market. Nothing too crazy. Can we finish the week with a little bit of strength to head into the weekend and have a little bit of optimism that things are cooled off? Looking at CME Fed Watch, so next week is when we're going to be ended up getting the CPI, Consumer Price Index. Currently right now, yesterday you saw this when we were looking at it, it's at 96%. My theory has been that this will shift drastically after we get the CPI print. We'll see what happens. You've had everybody who's been always pointing to the year-over-year inflation number. We're at 9% inflation. We're at 7% inflation. We're at 6% inflation, but it's been trending down. Next week on Wednesday is when we're going to get the CPI. I suspect we will see something very close to 3% as the year-over-year inflation, and there's a relatively decent chance we even see 2.9 or 2.8% on the year-over-year inflation figure, as currently right now it sits at 4%. But next month, that's where we're likely going to be bottoming out. This is something we've talked about for months. We're like, hey, in May, we're probably not going to see much of a drop. Then in June, we will see a big drop. And then in July, we'll see a big drop. And then that's it. That's where we are at. That's what our inflation's at. Once we get through the July one, that's next Wednesday, finally. And we've been talking about that specific set of May, not a whole lot. June, a big one. July, a big one. Then we're done. We're finally there. And that'll be next Wednesday. So looking over here at broader market news. So yesterday was all like employment is great. And then today, oh no, employment is bad. Jumping around on employment. Here's where the jobs are for June of 2023 in one chart. 10-year treasury yield rises despite weaker than expected June payrolls. Hey, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I feel a lot better today. I got some sleep yesterday. It was amazing. And 1,000 people watching, like, who cares? Yesterday was a rough day for me. When I came on here, I was just like, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Could barely keep my eyes open. Today, we're all good. 10-year treasury yield rises despite weaker than expected June payrolls growth. Okay. We can look at that. Let's take a look at the 10-year. Okay, yeah, it's up a little bit. You got mixed over there on yields this morning. Really mixed too. Like the super shortest, like the shortest and the longest ones are the ones on the top end of the biggest change today. The 1 month and then the 30-year. And then it's just like bouncing around between. Then you have long durations, and there's the 2 month. So either super short or super long duration treasuries are doing the best today. Anything kind of in the middle is kind of meh today. How's the stock market doing now that's been open for a minute? Still sitting at about the same. It looks like the NASDAQ and the S&P are slightly improved this morning. Yeah, look at all that green there on the chart. There we go. Now you got Roblox up 3%. You got ARK up 1.4. Coinbase still up there. Tesla Microsoft at the bottom. United Health has shifted up a little bit, right? It was down a little bit over 0.5%. So it looks like we're doing okay into the opening. Things are shifting to the upside into the opening coming off of yesterday's just whack job. We can almost see the Nasdaq flip green here in a second. Okay, back to the news. Okay, I don't think anything too amazing there. It's really just about unemployment and employment. But I've already checked it. It's not like the numbers are completely out of what we've been seeing. So it wasn't anything like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about these employments because it broke a trend. It didn't. Okay, nothing big there. You know me, I skip over news pretty quick unless it seems like really important. Elon Musk accuses Mark Zuckerberg of cheating Twitter versus Threads. Okay. So I talked about this the other day. Just so everybody doesn't know, I attempted to create an Instagram account for blockchain backer, and I got insta-banned from Instagram for impersonation. I guess I was impersonating the blockchain backer. I apologize for doing that, and I got banned. Yeah, so that's Elon. As you guys know, Elon Musk accuses Mark Zuckerberg of cheating Twitter versus Threads. You know, Zuckerberg came out with his Threads app, which is his version of Twitter. Let's see what they say. While Musk wrote that he is fine with competition, he made it clear that he would not tolerate cheating. The billionaire's remarks come after Twitter lawyer sent a letter to Mark Zuckerberg threatening legal action. Twitter is threatening to sue Meta over systemic, willful, and unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and IP, as well as scraping of Twitter's data in a cease and desist letter sent yesterday to Zuckerberg by Elon's lawyer. Competition is fine. Competition is fine. Cheating is not. So, okay. So, that's interesting if you kind of think about this. If you remember what happened this past weekend, right? Or when was that? It's been just a blur, whether it was a weekend or whether it wasn't a weekend. Do you remember when Twitter just recently had it to where like they limited the number of tweets you could view in a day? And it was like 600 or something if you weren't verified. And if you were verified, it was 6,000. And he was mentioning the reason of doing that is due to scraping and bots going through. And then here we are. It was like a day or two later. Then out comes... what is this thing called again? Threads. And then they're threatening to sue and saying that Zuckerberg was scraping Twitter's data. So that's interesting. I wonder if all that stuff had to do with Mark Zuckerberg. Why there was all those limits placed over there the other day. Or maybe it was a good marketing campaign. Maybe he knew they were coming out with it, and he did that. Okay, anyway, this is more of just drama. This isn't really crypto news. Hot stories. Why is price up today? Why is price down today? Why is Bitcoin price down today? It's up today. Get your news article right. You need to update that. Here's what happened in crypto today. Bitcoin bull run incoming. Binance CEO. Okay, we went over that yesterday. He said he spits out the same regurgitation everybody hears. 4-year block reward halvings, 4-year cycles. Heating a home with Bitcoin miners, staying warm. Okay, that's cool. And CoinDesk is just the worst. I think the format of how they have things here just make it very difficult to find anything worth reading. And what's funny about CoinDesk is how they're just so poorly formatted, yet they throw the big old consensus 2023. Like they're doing really well. But every time I come here and try to read you guys' news, I'm just lost on this website. It's formatted so poorly. The SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF is unlikely to be a game changer for crypto markets, says JP Morgan. Shiba Inu-based Shibarium blockchain expected to go live in August. How Secret Networks privacy as service unlocks Web3. Bitcoin retakes 30,000. Asian stocks hit 5-week low ahead of the U.S. jobs report. Unemployment rate, by the way, today did come out 3.6%. That's what in line with expectations. There's no breakout of unemployment yet, so there was nothing crazy about the unemployment that happened there. Thank BlackRock's clients for Larry Fink's change of heart towards a more responsible AI. The Broke Ape yacht crash. Lessons from Justin Bieber and other NFT collectors. Elon, you don't need crypto to do Twitter payments. Okay. Okay. There we go. That's your news, ladies and gentlemen. 95% gentlemen, 5% ladies. So, all right. I think that pretty much covers it. I think we're pretty much just bouncing back from the chaos of yesterday. Bitcoin's still able to remain within its range. Yet another week of just blah. The positive thing about the week that we've had in here is just coming out of what we're coming out of. We all know we're coming out of the ABC correction that we've been in from April through June. We've shot our way up, and we've just been able to maintain it with strength for the last 2 weeks. Even yesterday, setting still a new 13-month high. But insanity out of the stock market yesterday, and we went along with it here in the crypto market. But today, heading into end of the week, we're starting the day off with a little bit of positive price action. Looking over here at the stock market, boom, the Nasdaq has now gone positive. Leaders of the day, Coinbase jumping up again, now at 2.73% today, so that's good. ARK is up, Roblox is up. Losers of the day, there goes United Health again. And then Apple down there. So United Health, a big loser of the day at negative 0.82%. Nothing drastic now, 72, 73. But the winners today, look at that, Roblox and Coinbase once again. So Coinbase coming out of the gutter. Good to see that. Looks like metals are having a decent day today. You got gold at 1925. You got silver knocking on 23's door. But whether or not this is much more, it doesn't scream it to me. So we'll see. The dollar took a plunge this morning. So there you go. The dollar finally broke down. How long has the dollar been at that range? It's been at that one for about a week and a half. So there you go. Taking out the bottom of that one after holding for a week and a half. And then the only other thing is yields are mixed. So I'd say today is just more of a recovery day after insanity yesterday. Dollars breaking down, Bitcoin recovering, crypto recovering, and it's time to put this weird week behind us. I didn't know how to feel any days of this week. Monday felt like Monday, but then you had another Monday, which was like Wednesday, but then still I had family in here. So it's almost like Monday was yesterday on Thursday. And then now today is Friday, but Monday was also Monday and it was Friday because I didn't have anything going on the channel for Tuesday. Oh boy, we got through the week. So let's hop into the chat, guys, and then I'm going to start working on a video for the day now that I've been rambling for 17 minutes. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you're happy to make it to the weekends. Everybody who doesn't live in the United States are like, dude, this was just a normal week. What are you talking about, man? Oscar Hernandez says, it's corn. It's got all the juices. So hit the like for free. Oscar Hernandez says, Eric Martinson loves corn. Hit the like. I guess I don't get the corn joke. Thank you, Oscar. Ryan Roberts. Hey, BCB, can you check out the USDC dominance plus USDT dominance chart? If you draw a fib from 2020 September high to February 2020 low, you will see a 4.236 extension hit. How about that? That'd be fun. USDT versus... Yeah, but we might just kind of be picking arbitrary trend. What are you talking about? You're saying right here? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But it's also kind of like, well, why didn't we choose this one? Or why didn't we choose this one with something like that? Because it's not like it was a range breakout. But yep. Sure enough. Was it just randomly lucky like that? It could have been. But interesting enough as well. Let's look at this one too. All right, guys, what do you think? We at the end? You think the safety trade's over? YOLO time? Let's see here. You hit it. Holding. Yeah, there may be one more little one. I don't think so, though. Already gotten there. I'm going to guess that safety trade's... Yeah, is it done? Is it done? Still holding, right? Let's see here. I don't even have the stochastic on here. What are you breaking on me? You might be. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we're not done, we're dang near close to it for the safety trade being over. I really considered. I've been like spending time. I haven't gotten close to doing it, but at some point I'm going to get rid of this Bitcoin. I've been thinking about when I want to do it. I'm not there yet. If I do it, I'll say something. Michael Datamo from Philly. What's up, man? Thank you. All right. Pat. Thank you, sir. You're the man. Janice on the 1 hour Litecoin crashing structure or not really? Picking it on the 1 hour. I don't know, man. We'll look at it. I'm not going to give an opinion. We'll try to observe the things you're observing. Oh, we're going to pick it out of here. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Nah, I'm not so sure about that. Oh, by the way, I haven't even mentioned it. I did this yesterday. I forgot to mention it earlier in the stream. We're already 23 minutes in. Obviously, we're heading into the weekend, guys. I'm definitely taking the weekend off. I'm going to get my brain totally refreshed for next week because it was just wacky and wild this week. But of course, check out bcbacker.com if you guys haven't had the opportunity to catch up on all this stuff. I know there's some of you have been putting it off. It is your wonderful opportunity to get all of this high quality content that I worked on for months delivered right to your phone or right to your computer screen with this silky smooth voice teaching you all about the historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market, Elliott wave theory and how magical they are, along with Wyckoff method and all different types of secret sauces from market experience. All available to you here on bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content for your wonderful enjoyment for only $39 with no subscription fees and no reoccurring payments. Enjoy it today for your opportunity of a lifetime at bcbacker.com. All right, there we go. There's the pitch. All right. All right. Bradley Clark, can you make another exit plan video? I'd like to know what your points are for Atom, Ethereum, Cardano. I've been following since 2019. Much love. I'll think about it. Oh, look at that. Crypto FAP says the course is highly packed with knowledge. It is great. Thanks, BCB. Thank you, Crypto FAP. And I'll just say this, guys. If you guys want to say anything on Twitter, I will happily retweet it. It means the world to me. I appreciate that very much. For anybody who's taken it, watched it, Twitter, I love retweeting that stuff. I appreciate it. Andy Philpott, thank you so much. AAA Crypto says, per data analysis, will the stock market break new all-time high? I'm not sure if you watch the channel very often, AAA Crypto, as it is your first super chat. So thank you very much for your first time super chat. Did I miss anybody else's first time? Ryan Roberts, it was your first time, my dude. Thank you. AAA Crypto, we talk about this all the time. You are back at a retracement level. This is where all the danger resides. And, my conviction was always, this is where we'd get back to. This is where we'd always get back to. This is where everybody's screaming, don't fight the Fed, right? Don't fight it. Don't you understand? We know how to read the Fed now. And we get back, and now it's time where it's like, all right, now this is where I kind of say, oh boy, come on. Now I just cheer. I have to cheer for the market at this point to say, let's get through it. It's not about, this is where anybody who's in the stock market, right? Traders, this is your third range boundary. So in a third range boundary, this is going to be where shorts are going to come in, right? They're going to set stops here. Then it just gets all tricky in here. And then if you break through here and then you get stopped out, well, then you buy in and then it pulls back. Well, you have to have your next stop set down here and then you can get stopped out a second time. But this is your wacky wild zone of chaos here at the retracement levels. And what's going to happen at the retracement levels, that's the big difficult thing in a market. But once you recognize that markets do not tend to go in a straight line, right? If you go, and it's hard for the market to have a memory because market participants don't keep an emotional log like I strongly encourage them to do. But if you had an emotional log, and if you could go back here to June of 2022, if you had an emotional log and go back to October of 2022, you would look throughout your whole emotional log and see how you were screaming that the Fed was going to crush the economy and everything was going to come to an end. And then when we get back here, the participants just completely forget what they were like back then and what they thought back then. But during that time, I was consistently saying, we don't tend to go down in a straight line. We're going to move in waves and we can bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. And these bounce backs will happen back to retracement levels. And it's usually when we get back to the retracement levels is where the market participants are going to become incredibly optimistic on the market again. Now, that's if we're in a downtrend in a market, right? If we break through these, it opens up the door that we're not in a downtrend, but yet we're still continuing in an uptrend in this market. Doesn't mean that uptrend can't come up to here and then the downtrend starts here. But as we're in here, this is the most dangerous level for us to say that was a relief rally back to retracements. And then now we go for the next one before we have another relief rally again some other time. But right now we sit at the complete danger zone for the stock market, which is for this S&P 500. It's also for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it's also for the NASDAQ, all of them at the retracement levels. So hopefully we get through. The only thing I can do here at this point is cheer for it. I don't have a tremendous amount of exposure to the stock market. I think maybe 1% of my entire net worth is in the stock market, so I'm not a big... I don't know. I prefer the chaos of crypto. I prefer the more of asymmetric investments where, my investment could get crushed, but it could also 100x. It's just kind of how I am in that. But then I have my safety stuff, right? I have my gold. I have my silver. I have my U.S. Treasury bills that are earning 5% annual interest rates. Right, I've got my super boring stuff, but if I'm playing in the stock, if I'm playing in the markets, the equity markets, it's I prefer the more volatile thing, and that's the crazy thing, right? You have equities, right, and then crypto is almost like equities on leverage because it's so much more volatile. It's the most volatile asset class in the world. But then you have the true degens who take the most volatile asset class in the world, and then they use margin and leverage on that. And that's how they get blown out constantly. 99% of leverage traders get blown out and lose everything in their account. So I never recommend doing that. And even to this day, I still have never used leverage or margin in the cryptocurrency market. All right. Thank you, AAA. Oscar Hernandez, Corn TA, please hit the like, everybody. Yep, we're at 404 likes with 1,350 people in the channel. in the chat. Let's give some Friday love, dude. We're just working for the weekend this week, right? Oh, look at Oscar. What? See, I don't. Thank you, Oscar. He says, "Don't miss out on the greatest content for $39." Of course, he was talking about bcpacker.com. Thank you, Oscar. Hey, BCB, I've been watching for a long time. I just want to say a big thank you for everything you do. Big love from the UK. When Moon. Yeah, the day that somebody out there sells, whoever it was that has been holding for forever and debating if they wanted to sell, we're all just waiting on you to do it. The day that you do it, we're finally going to the moon. That guy who's right on the fence. He's just been thinking about it, holding for years. He's like, I shouldn't do it. I know I shouldn't do it, but I kind of wanna. And if I sell it, it's going to go up. We're all waiting on you, bro. We're waiting on you. So yeah, if you're wondering what is on the chart here, this was somebody was asking about USDT plus USDC dominance, which is Tether and Circle. Oh, what do they call it? USDC coin, whatever it is. USDC. Why am I having a hard time? Is that just what it's called? Why am I having a hard time here? Yeah, it's just called USD coin. Okay. By Circle, right? And Coinbase and all those guys. But I've gone into detail a couple of times on this, on the safety trade in here, in that it's not just Bitcoin anymore. That's the safety trade. That it's bigger than that. I do believe we're at the end of the safety trade. And it's time for the madness. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So still waiting. Yeah, somebody was asking about Litecoin crashing structure. Huh? So, okay, how are we doing over here? Let's take one more look over here at the markets. Then we'll hop in. Not Oscar. Good morning, amigo. Happy Friday. The Mex trip stock the freezer with 150 pounds of yellowtail and grouper fillets. Dang. Do you think one of those exploding flats could occur on the Dow chart where we barely get a new high? Yeah, that's exactly what we've talked about. Expanding. Expanding flat. Right. The idea of that would be this. Right. The Dow is short. Right. That would be just hitting the 4.236 extension. And so if you look at things like the NASDAQ has a very similar structure of what we look like on the front side of these expanding flats. And so we've gone into detail on this, comparing this versus Ethereum as well. Come here, Ethereum. And against Bitcoin, but we'll do it. Boom. So it's an expanding flat, but it's also a Wyckoff accumulation distribution. Wyckoff accumulation distribution. It's a Wyckoff distribution at the same time. So it's two things occurring. It's Wyckoff distribution, but turns into called an expanding flat correction. And what we would have here is initially the buying climax, right? And so what we would see, let's take a look at like this monthly time frame. You guys should love PTW. Hold on. She just walked in and handed me a note. Right. This is the buying climax happening in here. Right now we've lost a lot of steam in here, and you pretty much set a bearish divergence here on a larger time frame. Right. So we see the low. This is the lowest the relative strength has gotten since the great financial crisis. And essentially we're just building a big bearish divergence as we come in and go on down. So yeah, I definitely see that as possible. But to say that I think we're going to do that, it's kind of one of those things I've refrained from doing because, as you guys should all know at this point, I'm always that obnoxious jerk according to market participants, thinking that we're going back to retracement levels in the heat of the moment. Everybody's some type of expert on why we're going to still continue crashing. I've always tried to teach that markets don't typically go down in a straight line. They will typically move back to retracements, and then that's where all the decisions will get made at. We have finally gotten here. Now it's whether or not, do we roll over? Do we have an expanding flat? I just not willing to say which one I'm like solidly in belief that will happen. Could we hang out here for 6 months? We can, because we just did it with the Dow Jones. We've been here for 7 months. So we could just hang out here for a while. But this does look awfully similar to the front side of Wyckoff distribution, which has an up thrust. And so the up thrust is the final little excess that we get the new high with. That marks the ending of it. And so one other thing is, like I've often talked about, the first profit take that happens in a market. And in this bubble that is clearly printed here in the NASDAQ, there was never an initial profit take that happened. So what would this be? This could be like your initial profit take, your top, and then game over. So I think that's definitely possible too. But I stuck by my guns all of 2022 that we would see retracements in all these markets. How many Fed experts out there told you don't fight the Fed and became macro fundamental analysts in the crypto market? How many crypto people became that? Here we are. But at this point, this is the struggle. This is the tough part for the market. It's going to have to give us that answer, and hopefully the answer is positive. Fortunately, here we are on Friday, coming off of yesterday's bloodbath. We've got the NASDAQ in the green. We have the S&P in the green. We got Coinbase up 2.5%. We've got more green in the market today than we did for yesterday, for sure. As for crypto, mostly green morning with Bitcoin now above 30,300. So let's get in here. Boom. Recovering. Range still continues to hold for Bitcoin and popping right back off. So we touched the top side and the bottom side of the range yesterday with a new 13-month high yesterday, followed by going right back down to the low of the range once again. Just absolutely chaotic yesterday. So your question was, could we see expanding flat on the stock market? The only reason I would think that it's possible that we could was merely because the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones did not hit their 4.236 extensions. They both exceeded through 3.618 extensions. And like we saw for both Bitcoin and like we saw for Ethereum back in 2021, is that both of them did just that. Is that they both exceeded their 3.618 fib extensions, had big pullbacks, and then went on to have the expanding flat touch the 4.236. And that would be equivalent to what we're seeing happening right now in both the Dow and in the NASDAQ. They both went above here and on similar front sides of buying climaxes. And that we would, that's kind of the idea. We would have one more. And then you could Doomtown for stock market. But hey, Bitcoin's back above 30,400 this morning. Let's just celebrate that. Okay. Now, this is why participation trophy wife is the queen and the bomb. Walks in here and hands me a little note and says, "You missed Tay Brown's super chat." Tay Brown said, "When Monday is every day of the week besides Friday." Thank you, Tay. And thank you, PTW. She tries not to let anything slip by. And sorry, Tay, that I missed you, brother. Boom. Thank you, Tay. Thank you, PTW. Tom G says, "Hey, BCB, I've been waiting for a long time. I just wanted to say a big thank you for everything you do. Big love from the UK." I already read that one, right? Thank you very much. That was your first time. Thank you very much, Tom. Oscar, Tay Brown super chat. There he is. He's right after that. Oscar's warning saying, "Hey," and then look at this. Cash me says, "You missed Tay Brown." Oh my gosh. And then Steve, you don't forget Tay Brown. Tay, look what you started. You started 3 super chats saying, "Hey, Tay Brown." Okay, well, you guys were obviously on it too. But I do have a handwritten note. So PTW wins. And then Alpha Trader Inc. says, wow, hey, what Oscar, Cashme, and Steve said. So make that 4. There was 4 super chats reminding me that I missed Tay Brown's super chat. So Tay, you're obviously loved. Thank you. Okay. All right, we're all caught up in there, guys. So here we go. This is what we're looking at heading into Friday. We're looking at the market recovering after absolute chaos yesterday with the stock market. Dow Jones down 380 points. At one point, the Dow is down over 500 points. So what a recovery to see today on a Friday as we get ready to wrap up this just weird week with a holiday in the middle of it and half days of stock market, full days of stock market closure, and then just, wacky behavior. As we head into the remainder of the month, still, July is the month I'm watching for here in the crypto market. And with Bitcoin, still, thank goodness, able to hold that range in there. So nothing broken. We even set a new 13-month high yesterday. The highest price we've seen all of 2023 and in the entire second half of 2022 happened yesterday, but then turned into chaos. And if you remember, we had a day like that the other week. We were at the top of the range, and then what? There was just some weird news in the middle of markets in the morning, right? What was it? Anonymous sources with Wall Street Journal, ETFs were not up to par, according to SEC and the people, and whoever they were, according to these people, whoever they were, as written in the article. So we've seen some weird stuff coming off the top of this range for sure, and yesterday was no different. So wacky times over there for Bitcoin trying to escape the range. XRP still waiting on you to see if Bitcoin move up first. I put out a video yesterday discussing that. As for the stock market is having a recovery day today. We'll take it. Looks like the Dow is still down 32 points, but we do have the S&P and the NASDAQ in the green. We do have Coinbase up. It looks like it's getting a little bit more kind of flat in here, but we do have Coinbase and Roblox on the top side of it. Gold at 1927, so been able to hold support all week. Ever since hitting that low there in late June 28th. Now it's July 7th. So still holding support here for about a week and a half. DXY is the one that's taken the dump today, which is, of course, something typically good for markets, good for equities, good for cryptos. We've been waiting on this one for some time now. We've been sitting here in this flag for almost a month now, going on over 3 weeks. And there we go. We got the dump in it today. So we'll see if that can continue on its way down. Treasury yields very mixed today. Stock market pretty mixed, but some green in there, and you can see that's a mix there happening. It's not much, right? 0.07% plus side on SPX, negative 0.09% on the Dow, and plus 0.22% over there on the NASDAQ. Metals having an okay day, nothing insane, about 1% up for metals. So cheering for Bitcoin to close out this week and for the stock market to finish the week good. Next week's big event is going to be CPI data that's released on Wednesday. That's where I've suspected the number we see here on this screen will not be the number that stays there forever. Now at 94.9%. We'll see what happens once that CPI data releases. Again, whenever we get to Fed Day, which is going to be July 26th, I'm going to go with whatever it says on this page. No doubt about it. I'm not going to try to fight against what the market is pricing in. Whatever this is what I'm going to suspect the Fed is going to do. But what I've speculated is that this number will change back to this side drastically once that CPI data comes out next Wednesday. So we'll see all about that. Otherwise, nice to see the market being able to find some support after a wacky day yesterday of a new 13-month high, followed by the range low. Stock market down almost 500 points at one point throughout the day, but today we're taking a nice little breather. So, all right. Hey, BCB. Dylan says, hey, BCB, do you have any Easter eggs hidden in your course? I think I found one. I might, man. I don't know. DM me on Twitter. Let me know. Yes, there we go. That's a good idea. So we're starting to close this thing out. What a wonderful opportunity as the weekend approaches to fill your whole weekend with BCB content. Imagine sitting on your couch, watching it on your television. Imagine your iPad plugged in as you lay in bed, just relaxing, enjoying silky smooth blockchain backer voice with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content delivering you breathtaking charts that just open your world to the magic of crypto to have a better understanding. It could all be yours for the low price of $39 with no recurring fees, no subscriptions, tons of videos at your fingertips right here on bcbacker.com. All right. Get it. All right. Why is Solana running? Right. Well, I think, oh, yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it next week. But Solana, surprisingly, is not all that abandoned after all the crazy stuff that happened. You would think people would be flocking and running away from Solana after everything that happened in November and December, and just here we are this deep into this stuff. And it's not. So it's interesting. Now, Solana was named as one of those ones as a security, right, by the SEC. No, they did not. I don't want to say that. That's not true. They did not. I'm going to double check that. I do not believe Solana was. SEC names coins as securities. Oh, they did. Hold on. Let's make sure. I don't recall that. Was it in Binance and Coinbase? SEC sues Coinbase. Let's see if Solana is named. I don't believe that. I don't recall that. Anybody know? They are in the Coinbase. Somebody says they are in the Coinbase. Rich. Yeah, you got to be careful with Solana regardless. Right, it's hard to know because Solana was so tied to FTX. Reuters. Yeah, it's just been a little while. There's some I can remember off my top of my head. I don't know why Solana wasn't one that I remembered. Let's find it. Solana. Yep. Solana, Cardano, Polygon. So, yeah, okay. It was named. There you go. Solano. Michael Clark says, hey, BCB, don't you think Gary and the Fed will do their trickery again when it's time for XRP to take? That is the scary thing that is always possible, always possible, is that something like that happens because they did it before. I guess the thing we can hope for is it's the opposite this time. But yeah, that was brutal. The things I've talked about too, people have asked me before, do we know if it would have gone into an all-time high? Regardless of them, we don't know, right? Like we would love to say we would have gone to all-time high had it not been for the SEC suing 5 days after Bitcoin breaks out into a new all-time high and every exchange delists while Ethereum and the altcoins go surging to all-time highs and just rocking and rolling. Instead, XRP gets delisted from everywhere. You would think that probably impacted the ability for XRP to go into a new all-time high. You would think. But we don't know, and that's the tough part, right? We just don't know. That scenario of it not happening was never part of our reality. Our reality is a scenario where it did happen, and we don't know what the scenario of it not happening would have been. So, hopefully, things go well, and I don't know. Can it really get any worse for XRP? 2.5 years of not being on any U.S. exchanges? I don't know, man. I don't know. Andrew Hunter says, BCB, did you decide if HBAR is worth a punt? No, I still own some HBAR, right? HBAR does have a higher inflation rate. I'm not a fan of. But there is developer activity on HBAR and Hedera. If you look at all the cryptos, if you look at all of them and you try to like isolate it down to like, and I've done this, I'm still working on it actively. You just look at their inflation rates over the course of the last year, and then you also look at their developer growth. You will you'll find very few that have low inflation rate and have developer growth. Let me see if my sheet's open here. Here we go. Let's do this. Sort by color. Full-time divs. Percent change. Yeah, you just don't have many. So like if you want like the obvious ones, when you look at like the year over year, is, you know, your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, XRP, Cardanos. But that's really it. Then you kind of like have to kind of start venturing out. So Hedera, right? Hedera has good year over year developer growth, but a 51% inflation rate. Yeah. But good developer growth, better developer growth than things that are like in the top five of when you mix everything together and you try to say, hey, does it have inflation that's less than 20%? Does it have, you know, at least 40 full-time developers? Has it beaten the average rate of change of developer growth? And does it have at least, you know, outside of full-time developers, just like any active developers, does it have at least like 100? And does that also beat the rate of change? If you can match all of that criteria, there's not many that can do it. There's only like 5. So then you start venturing out of that 5 and you say, well, how many can match 4 of the 5 criteria, right? That you have, like maybe it's going to have, you know, enough full-time devs and a good growth rate of devs and growth rate of part-time devs and a lot of part-time devs, but it's going to have inflation, right? And the thing that doesn't seem to be, and that's the difficult part with the inflation. Where is the cutoff, right? That's the hard part. Where is the cutoff number on inflation? Here comes PTW with another note. Here we go. Oh, can't see a chart. Okay, I don't have a chart on the screen. Sorry. There's Bitcoin and charting. We need the charts. I'm actually looking at an Excel file, and I'm not going to bring my Excel file on the screen because this is what I do a lot of work on this thing. I've been interrupted. Whoever needed to see a chart, you have now interrupted my line of thought. Anyway, yeah, so where is the cutoff in inflation, right? I think that's the hard part. You know, can you really do... the thing that doesn't seem to be okay, when you go back and just review all the data, it doesn't seem to be okay is developer decline. It seems to be like the one, like big developer decline especially. It doesn't seem to be a thing you can sacrifice. The big debate out there, which I'm still working on cross-checking, and I haven't run the numbers yet. I haven't run it to even know, is the inflation stuff. Where is that cutoff? Where is that number where it all falls apart on where it is important on the inflation front? You would think you can't have 95% annual inflation. You would just think you can't do it. 100% annual inflation. That turns something that, you know, at one point was potential of 100x to then come down to only be a 50x. Then another year passes by, it's only a 25x. And then if another year passes by, it's only a 12x. And it's just like, okay, just another average return in crypto for 4 years. But what had potential on its market cap got utterly destroyed because of a huge inflation rate. And who is the person taking all that inflation? Who's the one gobbling it all up? So I'm working on that. That's kind of like my side project. I'm just kind of building Excel files. Now I have to do the harder part. I have to go in and figure out the exact returns on specific dates for nearly 100 coins with 100 different inflation rates and figure out, was there a statistical difference between inflation versus higher inflation versus lower inflation. I mean, my gut's going to tell me, of course, but will it be significantly measurable? That's going to be the big question. But if you're trying to find stuff that is like, it has less than 20% inflation, plus it has full-time developer growth, and it has part-time developer growth, and it has at least 100 part-time developers, and it has at least 40 full-time developers, your list is just very small, very tiny. And a lot of you don't like the idea that you need to own Bitcoin and Ethereum then, because that's 2 out of the 5 of them. Then you only get to venture out a couple more. And for probably a lot of people own 20 or 30 cryptos, right? So, all right, how are we doing? Crypto up, good way to end Friday. How's the stock market? Mixed, back to slight down again for the stock market. But at least Coinbase is still somehow in the green, barely over 1%, with all these indexes back at 702s. So as for Bitcoin, keeping an eye on it to be able to hold the bottom of the range. Somehow was able to after setting a 13-month high yesterday. And then today, now bouncing back off the bottom side of the range. So hopefully next week is our big week where we can get a clear out of here. Patience. I talked to, when I was in the, I did a Twitter Spaces on Monday. I did 2 of them, actually. I did one with XRP Productions, and I did one with Mr. I. And I believe it was in Mr. I's Twitter Space. I can't remember which one it was. I had mentioned, no, it might have been with XRP Standard Productions, XRPP. The times that are rough was when we get into a range and we stay and we're deep in the range. I've pretty much had enough time to say the things that I think about the range and where I think we're going. Now it's all about just waiting for the price to do something and get its way out of here. So enough time, I think, has certainly elapsed with us in this range. My thoughts were maybe we'd get our way out of here this week. And, okay, no. No, time. But next week, right? Next week's our week. I think we'll get her out of here. It'd be just so odd to stay there for this long. So I think next week's our big week, and we'll see how things go. But as for XRP, we're getting close. July, let's rock. Ethereum looking pretty decent, but not a whole lot of change in there. Looking for gold to chill itself out, but at least with the dollar, we're seeing the dollar start to fall apart. Nice way to head in the weekend, seeing the dollar start to finally break down after being in here for almost a month. So heading into the weekend, let's see the stock market close decent into the end of the day. Look at that. Oh, Solana's up even more, now up 8%. Followed by Uniswap at 5%. If you're looking for something to do throughout the weekend, of course, I know I've been kind of a goofball talking about this. I know you guys hear me talk about it all the time. But yeah, this is the course. It's got all the PDFs in there. So the last course when I released it, it was 14 videos. This one's 40. I really tried to go like way above and beyond on this one when I put this together, and then put the PDFs in there for you guys to have as reference points to be able to kind of print out and go back to. And there's links in there to be able to look at additional stuff. Like if you go in here, let's see if I'm even logged in. I don't know. Okay, I am. Thank God, that would have been weird. You got your video in here, right? And then, you got, your PDF file in here.
In this section, we're going to be talking about Wyckoff accumulation.
Oh, BCB.
Hopefully,
that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome, BCB. That's a good idea. Anyway, then, you'll have the ability to download the PDF, and then you got additional links to get it. So it's really trying to make this all-encompassing, the most detailed stuff you could get out there, especially for the price, $39. No subscriptions. But yeah, I'm off this weekend. There's no chance I'm coming back on the weekend. The thing could skyrocket to the moon, or we could have a flash crash. I am taking the weekend off just to make sure I come back super refreshed next week. This will be the first. Did I have all weekend off last weekend? I can't remember. I think maybe I did. I don't even know. It's been a weird week. But yeah, check this sucker out. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. If I missed anybody in here. Oreo says, any thoughts on new data and developer report? I haven't had a time to go through all of it. I have started, but I haven't had a time to go through all of it yet. Susie Garcia, you are amazing. Thank you, Susie. I appreciate the support. Otherwise, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up and get ready for the weekend. So I'm going to try to put together a video. That's kind of what I'm going to start working on right now. Something brief to get us into the weekend. Otherwise, guys, check this sucker out, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you could smash that like button as we get ready to wrap it up, I'd appreciate it. So, okay. That's it for this one, guys. Happy Friday. Adios. See you later. Sayonara. Bougie. I don't know French. I'm out of here. All right, guys. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one, guys.